I'm sitting in a conference room right now waiting for our new owner to walk in. The company I helped build over 7 years is being acquired. We're all nervous wondering who's going to get let go, who's going to survive the transition. Standard corporate nightmare stuff, except I already know what's going to happen to me. Because I know who bought us. I've known for 3 days since the announcement. And I haven't slept since. Her name is Maya Chen. 5 years ago, she was a 22-year-old intern in our design department. Brilliant, hungry, full of ideas that could have changed everything for us. She worked under me for 6 months. I destroyed her, not physically, not with one big dramatic moment. Worse. I did it slowly, methodically over those 6 months. I took credit for her work. I undermined her confidence in meetings. I made her doubt every instinct she had. When she finally left, she was a shell of the person who'd walked in. And now she's coming through that door as the CEO of TechVista, our biggest competitor. The company she built from nothing in 5 years. The company that's worth 3 times what we're worth. The door's opening now. I can hear footsteps in the hallway. Multiple people. Her team. This is karma, I guess. And karma, I'm learning, has perfect timing. Let me back up. Let me tell you how I got here. How I became the kind of person who destroys someone else's potential because I was too scared to face my own inadequacy. My name is Lydia Grant. I'm 29 years old. I live in Capitol Hill in Seattle with my partner, Jazz. On the surface, I look successful. Senior manager at a tech startup. Good salary. Nice apartment with a view of the Space Needle. The kind of life my college self would have been proud of. But here's the thing about success built on someone else's failure. It haunts you. Every promotion, every achievement, there's this voice in the back of your head asking if you really earned it. Or if you just got really good at taking credit. 5 years ago, I was 24. I'd been promoted to senior manager 6 months earlier. First time leading a team. First time with real responsibility. And I was terrified. Terrified that everyone would realize I didn't know what I was doing. That I wasn't as good as they thought. That I didn't deserve to be there. Imposter syndrome. That's what the articles call it. The feeling that you're faking it, that any moment someone's going to discover you're not qualified. I had it bad. Spent every day convinced I was one mistake away from being exposed. The company culture didn't help. It was competitive. Cutthroat even. Everyone fighting for visibility. Fighting to be the one with the best ideas. The one the executives noticed. The one who got ahead. I told myself I had to play the game. Had to be strategic. Had to protect my position. That's the lie I used to justify everything that came next. It was June. Summer intern season. We got 6 interns that year. Maya Chen was one of them. Stanford graduate. Design genius. Coding skills that put half our full-time staff to shame. And 22 years old. I remember her first day. She walked into the office wearing this vintage band t-shirt and jeans, carrying a messenger bag covered in stickers from tech conferences. She had this energy. This confidence, not arrogant. Just sure of herself. Like she knew exactly who she was and what she was capable of. It made me immediately uncomfortable. The first week was fine. She was learning the systems, getting oriented, asking good questions, smart questions. The kind that showed she was already thinking 3 steps ahead. Week 2, we had a team meeting. Brainstorming session for a new user interface redesign. One of our biggest clients. High stakes. Everyone throwing out ideas. Maya was quiet for most of it. Just listening. Taking notes. And then near the end, she raised her hand. What if we completely rethink the navigation structure, she said. Instead of the traditional menu system, what if we use adaptive navigation based on user behavior? Machine learning that anticipates what the user needs before they know they need it. The room went quiet. Our director of product, Marcus, leaned forward. Explain that more. And she did. For 10 minutes, she laid out this entire concept. How it would work. What the user experience would look like. Why it would revolutionize how people interact with the platform. She even had rough sketches. She'd been working on it the night before just for fun. Everyone was impressed. I could see it on their faces. Marcus was nodding. Our CTO was taking notes. Even our CEO, who rarely came to these meetings, was paying attention. And me, I felt something cold settling in my chest. Something ugly. Because what Maya had just proposed in 10 minutes was better than anything I'd come up with in 3 years at the company. She was 22. An intern. and she was already more talented than I'd ever be. That's when the fear started. Real fear. The kind that makes you do things you know are wrong. After the meeting, I told her it was a good idea but probably too complex for this client. That we needed to stick with something simpler. More tested. I watched her face fall. Watched her confidence waver. "Oh," she said. "Okay, I just thought." "You're doing great," I interrupted. "But you're still learning how clients think. How the business side works. Trust me on this one." She nodded. Trusted me. Because I was her manager. Because she thought I was helping her. I took her idea. I refined it a little. Changed some of the terminology. Made it sound more business-focused. And 2 weeks later, I presented it to the client as my own. They loved it. Marcus praised me in front of the whole team. The CEO sent me an email saying it was exactly the kind of innovative thinking the company needed. Maya was in that meeting. She sat there watching me present her idea. Her face was unreadable. Afterward, she didn't say anything, just went back to her desk. I told myself it was fine. That this was how the industry worked. That she'd understand someday. But I knew. I knew exactly what I'd done. And I knew I'd do it again. Looking back, I can pinpoint the exact moment I made the choice. It wasn't dramatic. It was in a coffee shop on a Tuesday morning looking at Maya's design portfolio, realizing it was better than anything I'd ever created. And instead of being inspired, instead of wanting to learn from her, I felt threatened. That feeling, that tiny poisonous seed, that's where it all started. Over the next 4 months, it became a pattern. Maya would have an idea. I'd dismiss it in front of her, then use it later. She'd create something brilliant. I'd find small flaws to critique. She'd volunteer for a project. I'd assign her to something less visible. I was methodical about it. Never too obvious. Never anything someone could point to and say, "That's sabotage." Just small undermining moments. Death by 1,000 cuts. In meetings, I'd let her present, then immediately point out potential problems. Frame her ideas as good starting points that needed more experienced refinement, which I'd happily provide. I excluded her from important client calls. Told her she wasn't ready yet. Told her she needed more training first. I edited her work before it went to anyone else. Changed things. Made it look less polished. Then I'd point out the flaws I'd created and offer to help her improve. The worst part, she kept trying. Kept working hard. Kept coming to me for advice. "Lydia, how can I get better at client presentations?" "Lydia, do you have time to review this design before I show it to the team?" "Lydia, I really want to learn from you." Every time she said my name with that respect, that trust, I felt something twist inside me. But I didn't stop. By month 4, I could see the change in her. The confidence was gone. She second-guessed everything. She stopped speaking up in meetings. She'd show me work and immediately apologize for it, pointing out flaws before I could. I'd broken something in her, and I felt relief. Because if she didn't trust herself, she wasn't a threat. My partner Jas noticed something was off. We were having dinner one night in August, and she asked about work. "How's your intern?" "The one you said was so talented." "Maya, she's fine. Struggling a bit, actually." Jas looked at me. Really looked at me. "Struggling how?" "Just not as good as I initially thought." "Happens sometimes. People interview well but can't execute." "That's not what you said 2 months ago. You said she was brilliant." I shrugged. Changed the subject. But Jas kept looking at me like she could see something I didn't want her to see. A week later, she brought it up again. We were walking around Green Lake on a Sunday afternoon. "I've been thinking about your intern," she said. "Why?" "Because you've changed since she started. You're anxious all the time. Defensive. And the way you talk about her doesn't match." "What do you mean?" "You say she's struggling, but you also mention her ideas constantly. Her work. How creative she is. It's like you're angry at her for being good." I stopped walking. "That's not true." "Isn't it?" I didn't answer. We walked in silence for a while. "Lydia, are you threatened by her?" "No. Because if you are, that's human. But what you do with that feeling matters." I wanted to tell her the truth. Wanted to admit what I'd been doing. But I couldn't. Instead, I got defensive. I'm helping her. I'm teaching her how the industry works. Jas didn't push. But I could feel her disappointment. Maya's last day was in early September. End of the internship program. There was a small party. Pizza in the break room. The other interns were excited, talking about going back to school or starting new jobs. Maya was quiet. She'd been quiet for weeks. I found her in the bathroom near the end of the day. She was washing her hands, staring at herself in the mirror. When she saw me, she tried to smile. "Hey, I just wanted to say thank you for everything, for mentoring me. Of course, you did good work." She nodded, hesitated, then said, "Can I ask you something?" "Sure." Was I not good enough for this industry? The question hit me like a punch. Because I'd done that. I'd made her doubt herself so completely that she was questioning whether she belonged. I should have told her the truth. Should have said she was brilliant. That she was one of the most talented designers I'd ever met. That the problem wasn't her. It was me. Instead, I said, "You have potential. You just need more experience. More confidence. You'll get there." She nodded again. Thanked me. Left. I stood there alone in the bathroom, staring at my reflection. Hating what I saw. But not enough to change. That night, Maya sent me an email. I saw it come through around 9 o'clock. I was at home trying to work, trying to ignore the guilt. I clicked on it. Read the first line. It thanked me for the opportunity. I deleted it. Didn't read the rest. Told myself I didn't need to. That chapter was over. That was 5 years ago. For a while, I convinced myself I'd done the right thing. That it was just business. Just survival in a competitive industry. But the guilt didn't go away. It accumulated. Every time I got a promotion, there was this voice asking if I deserved it. Every time I mentored someone new, I wondered if I was being supportive or threatened. Here's what I've learned about guilt. It doesn't hit you all at once. It's not like in movies where you have one big realization and break down. It accumulates. And it doesn't make you a better person. It just makes you aware of what kind of person you actually are. I did get better after Maya, tried to be more supportive, more generous with credit, more honest about my limitations. But I never forgot what I'd done, never stopped wondering what happened to her. Then 3 days ago, everything changed. I was in a meeting with our CEO and the senior leadership team. Emergency meeting. We'd been hearing rumors about an acquisition for weeks. Our company wasn't doing great. Funding was tight. Competition was fierce. Our CEO stood at the front of the room looking tired. "I have an announcement," he said. "We've been acquired. TechVista has purchased the company. The deal closes in 2 weeks." TechVista. I knew the name. Everyone in the tech industry knew the name. They'd exploded in the last 3 years. Innovative products. Amazing culture. One of the fastest growing companies in the Pacific Northwest. Their CEO will be visiting next week, our CEO continued. Meeting with all senior leadership. Evaluating the team. Deciding on the structure going forward. Someone asked who their CEO was. He pulled up a photo on the screen, and there she was. Maya Chen. Older. More polished. But unmistakably her. I felt everything drain out of me. My hands went cold. My vision narrowed. "She's young," someone commented. "How old is she?" 27. Built the company from the ground up 5 years ago, right out of an internship program apparently. I couldn't breathe. 5 years ago. Right after she left us. The meeting continued. People asked questions about the acquisition. About their roles. About the timeline. I didn't hear any of it. I was staring at Maya's face on the screen. At the confidence in her eyes. The same confidence I'd tried to destroy. Except now, it was real. Earned. Unshakable. After the meeting, I went straight to the bathroom. Locked myself in a stall. My hands were shaking. I pulled out my phone, searched for Maya Chen. Found article after article. Tech Wonderkind builds $50 million company before turning 25. How Maya Chen disrupted the industry. I read them all. Pieced together her story. After leaving our company, she'd been devastated. Almost gave up on design entirely. Spent months in therapy dealing with anxiety and self-doubt. But then she'd started building something on her own. A small app. Just for herself. To remember why she loved design in the first place. The app took off. Other people wanted it. She refined it, launched it properly, got funding, hired a team. That app became TechVista. And now TechVista was 3 times bigger than our company. More innovative. Better culture. Better products. Everything we could have been if I'd supported her instead of sabotaging her. One article included an interview. The journalist asked about her early career. That experience taught me exactly what kind of leader I never wanted to be, Maya said. I learned that insecure leadership destroys potential. That good leaders make space for other people to shine. That's what we built Tech Vista on. She didn't name me. Didn't have to. I knew she was talking about me. That was 3 days ago. I haven't slept since. You know what's funny about consequences? We spend our whole lives being told they're coming and we never really believe it. I didn't believe it. I thought I got away with it. Maya left, I moved on, life continued. But consequences don't work on our timeline. They work on their own schedule. And Maya Chen's schedule just caught up with mine. Yesterday I did something I should have done 5 years ago. I went into my deleted emails, found Maya's message from her last day, the one I'd never read. I opened it. Dear Lydia, thank you for the opportunity to intern with your team. I learned so much these past 6 months, though maybe not in the ways I expected. I came in thinking I wanted to learn technical skills, how to build better products, how to navigate the industry. Instead, I learned about leadership, about what kind of leader I want to be someday. I hope I can be the kind of leader you pretended to be. Supportive, generous, confident enough to celebrate other people's success instead of feeling threatened by it. I'm sorry I disappointed you. I tried really hard. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this industry. But thank you for trying to help me. I hope your career continues to grow. I hope you find what you're looking for. Best, Maya. I read it 5 times. Each time it hurt more. The kindness in it. The generosity. Even after everything I'd done, she was thanking me. Apologizing for disappointing me. She thought she was the problem. I'd convinced her she was the problem. I forwarded the email to Jazz. She called me immediately. Lydia, what is this? I told her everything, all of it. Every detail I'd been hiding for 5 years. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "What are you going to do?" I don't know. She's coming tomorrow. I have a one-on-one meeting with her. Tell her the truth, all of it, what you did, why you did it, that there's no excuse. She'll fire me, maybe, but at least you'll have told the truth. We talked for another hour. Jazz was disappointed, hurt that I'd hidden this, but she didn't judge me, just listened. I love you, she said finally, but you have to face this. That night I tried to write a speech, an apology, an explanation. I drafted 17 different versions, started with the excuses. I was young, I was scared. The company culture was toxic, all true. None of it mattered, so I deleted everything. Started over. Wrote down just the facts. What I did. The impact it had. That I was sorry, but even that felt insufficient. How do you apologize for trying to destroy someone's career? I don't think you can. I think some things are beyond apology. But I had to try. This morning I woke up at 5. Couldn't sleep anyway. I went for a run around Capitol Hill. Watched the sunrise over the city. It's beautiful here. Seattle. The mountains. The water. I love this place. Built a life here. And I might have to leave it. Start over somewhere else. I thought about running. Just not showing up. Sending an email resignation. But that's the coward's way. And I've been a coward long enough. So here I am, sitting in this conference room. Waiting. My meeting is scheduled for 10 o'clock. It's 9:55. Other managers have already had their meetings. Some came out looking relieved. Some came out carrying boxes. There's this moment before something life-changing happens where time feels weird, stretched out and compressed simultaneously. This is that moment. I'm about to walk into a room and face the person I hurt most in my career. The person whose potential I tried to suffocate because it made me feel small. And I have no idea if honesty will matter, if apologies mean anything 5 years later, if there's any version of this where I walk out okay. But I'm going in anyway. The door opens. Maya's assistant steps in. Young guy. Professional. He looks familiar. It takes me a second to place him. Then I remember. He was another intern that same summer. I'd criticized his work too. Not as badly as Maya, but enough. Lydia, she's ready for you. He doesn't smile. His professionalism is cold. I stand up. My legs feel weak. I follow him down the hallway. Past the open workspace where my team sits. They look up as I pass. Wondering. Worried. We reach a corner office. Through the glass wall I can see her. She's on a call. Animated. Gesturing. Confident. She's become everything she was meant to become. No thanks to me. Maybe in spite of me. The assistant knocks. She looks up, sees me. For just a second, I see recognition. Then her face becomes neutral, professional. She gestures to the chairs in front of her desk. I walk in. Lydia, she says. Her voice is calm, steady. Please sit down. I sit. My hands are in my lap. I'm trying to look composed. Failing. How have you been, she asks. The question throws me. It's kind, normal. I've been good. Thank you for asking. She nods. Opens a folder on her desk. I've been looking at your work over the past 5 years. Impressive record. Strong performance reviews. Your team speaks highly of you. I don't know what to say. Let's talk about your management history here, she continues. This is it. The moment where I either defend myself or tell the truth. I take a breath. Before we do that, I need to say something. She looks up. Waits. 5 years ago, you interned here. You worked under me for 6 months. And I destroyed you. I took credit for your work. I undermined your confidence. I sabotaged you because I felt threatened by how talented you were. The words come out in a rush. Maya's expression doesn't change. She just watches me. I made you doubt yourself, I continue. Made you think you weren't good enough. And when you left, I didn't even have the courage to tell you the truth. That the problem wasn't you, it was me. My insecurity. My fear. I force myself to slow down. There's no excuse for what I did. I can say I was young or scared or that the company culture was toxic. All of that's true. But it doesn't matter. What I did was wrong. And I'm sorry. I'm more sorry than I can possibly express. Silence. Maya leans back in her chair, studies me for a long moment. Then she says, I know. My heart stops. I've always known, she continues. Her voice is calm. Matter of fact, I'm not stupid, Lydia. I knew what you were doing. I documented everything. Kept copies of my original work, time-stamped files, screenshots, even recordings of meetings. I feel sick. I showed it all to HR, she says. Halfway through the internship. Asked for help. Reported what was happening. What did they say? They dismissed it. Said it was just politics, the way things work. That I needed to develop a thicker skin. She says it without emotion, just stating facts. So I left, she continues. Because I realized the system wasn't going to protect me. That if I stayed, you'd either break me completely or I'd become like you. And I didn't want either outcome. I can't speak. Can barely breathe. Do you know what happened after I left, she asks. I shake my head. I spent 6 months thinking I was the problem, that I wasn't good enough. I was in therapy twice a week. Anxiety. Depression. I almost gave up on design entirely. Every word is a knife. My therapist helped me understand something, Maya says. That what happened wasn't about my ability. It was about your fear. And that your fear was your problem, not mine. She stands up, walks to the window, looks out at the city. Starting Tech Vista was terrifying, she says. Because I had to trust myself again. Had to believe I was capable. It took years to rebuild what you tore down in 6 months. Maya, she holds up a hand. I'm not finished. I close my mouth. But here's what you also did, she says, turning to face me. You showed me exactly what kind of leader I never wanted to be. You taught me that insecure leadership destroys potential. That good leaders make space for other people to shine. She walks back to her desk. Sits down. Tech Vista has a zero-tolerance policy for toxic management, she says. We've built a culture that actively prevents what you did to me. And it works. Highest employee satisfaction in the industry. Lowest turnover. Most innovative products. She looks at me directly. Why are you telling me this now? Because you deserve the truth. Because I should have told you 5 years ago. Because I can't live with it anymore. Can't live with the guilt. Or can't live with the consequences. The question cuts deep. Both. I'm not going to pretend this is entirely selfless. But I am genuinely sorry. For all of it. Maya nods slowly. What kind of leader are you now? The question catches me off guard. What? Now, today, 5 years later. What kind of leader are you? I want to say yes. Want to tell her I'm completely different. Reformed, but I can't lie. Not now. Better than I was, I say slowly. But not good enough. I've spent the past 5 years trying to do better. Be more supportive. More generous with credit. But there are still moments where I feel threatened. where I have to fight the instinct to protect myself instead of supporting my team. At least you're honest about it. I'm trying to be. Maya opens another folder, pulls out papers, slides them across the desk. These are statements from people you've managed over the past 5 years, she says. I've been doing my due diligence. My stomach drops. Some are very positive, she continues. They say you're smart, dedicated, good at problem solving. But there are patterns. Moments where you took credit that should have been shared. Times when you prioritized your image over your team's development. Not as bad as what you did to me, but echoes of it. I can't argue. Can't defend myself. Because I know it's true. I'm not going to fire you, Maya says. I look up shocked. Not out of revenge anyway, she clarifies. That would be easy. Satisfying even. But it wouldn't solve anything. Wouldn't make you better. Wouldn't help your team. She leans forward. Here's what I'm offering. You can leave. I'll give you a generous severance package. A good recommendation. You can start fresh somewhere else. No one needs to know about our history. She pauses. Or you can stay, but not in your current role. A lateral move. Same paid, different responsibilities. Fewer direct reports. Quarterly leadership reviews. Mandatory coaching. And complete transparency. I stare at her. Why would you give me that choice? Because I want to know if you've actually changed. If you want to change, words are easy. Apologies are easy. Actually doing the work that's hard. She stands up. You have until tomorrow morning to decide. Talk to whoever you need to talk to. Think about what you really want. Then let me know. The meeting is over. I stand up, legs shaking. Lydia, Maya says as I reach the door. I turn back. I'm not doing this for you, she says. I'm doing it for the person you could have been to me. The mentor you should have been. I'm giving you the chance you never gave me. What you do with it is up to you. I walk out. Down the hallway. Past my team. Straight out of the building. I walk for hours. Through downtown Seattle. Along the waterfront. Up to Pike Place Market. Normal life. People living their normal lives. And I'm deciding who I want to be. I called Jazz. She's at work, but she answers anyway. How did it go? I tell her everything. The meeting. Maya's offer. The choice. What do you want to do, she asks. I don't know. The easy thing would be to run. But I don't want to be that person anymore. The person who runs. Who takes the easy way. Then don't be. I laugh. It comes out bitter. It's not that simple, isn't it? You make a choice. Then you live with it. You keep making that choice every day until it becomes who you are. By the time the sun starts to set, I know what I'm going to do. I send Maya an email. Short. Simple. I'd like to stay. I'd like to try. Thank you for giving me the chance. Lydia, she responds an hour later. Okay. Report to Derek tomorrow morning. He'll be your manager during the transition. Quarterly review in 3 months. Good luck. That was 6 months ago. I'm not going to pretend the past 6 months have been easy. They haven't. They've been the hardest 6 months of my career. The coaching sessions are brutal. Once a week, I sit with a leadership coach who asks questions I don't want to answer. Why do you think you feel threatened when someone on your team has a good idea? Because it makes me feel inadequate. And why does their success make you inadequate? Because if they're good, then what do I bring? What's my value? What if your value came from making other people better? From creating an environment where brilliant people can do their best work? It sounds simple, obvious even, but unlearning years of toxic patterns is hard. Really hard. There are moments where I slip, where someone on my team has an idea, and my first instinct is defensiveness. But now I catch myself, force myself to pause, to ask questions instead of critiquing, to celebrate instead of competing. It's exhausting. This constant self-monitoring, but it's also freeing in a weird way. Because I'm not pretending anymore. Not performing success while feeling like a fraud. I'm actually doing the work. Actually changing. Yesterday, something happened that made me realize how far I've come. I was in a meeting with my team, brainstorming for a new client pitch. One of the junior designers, Rachel, she's 23. Fresh out of school. She raised her hand tentatively. I have an idea, but I don't know if it's good. And I felt it. That old instinct. The fear. For a split second, I wanted to shut it down, but I caught myself. Paused. Took a breath. Let's hear it, I said. She laid out her concept. It was brilliant. Innovative. Exactly what the client needed. The room went quiet. Everyone was impressed. And I felt that fear. That old familiar fear. But this time I did something different. Rachel, that's incredible, I said. Can you develop it further? Put together a presentation. I think this should be the centerpiece of our pitch. Her face lit up. Really, this is exactly the kind of thinking we need. Thank you for sharing it. After the meeting, she came up to me. Thank you for believing in my idea. Thank you for having the courage to share it. She walked away. Happy. Confident. And I stood there feeling proud. Not of myself. Of her. That's new. That feeling. Being genuinely happy about someone else's success. It's a small thing. One moment. But it feels significant. Like maybe I'm actually changing. Not just performing change. Actually becoming someone different. I see Maya around the office sometimes. Not often. She's busy running the company. We're not friends. We'll probably never be friends. Too much history. But there's something there. Some mutual understanding. Last week I saw Maya in the hallway. She was heading to a meeting. Lydia, she said, stopping. Hey. She looked at me for a moment. Then she said, Derek mentioned you're doing well. Keep it up. It wasn't effusive praise. Wasn't forgiveness. But it was acknowledgement. Thank you, I said. For the chance. For everything. She nodded. Started to walk away. Then turned back. You know what the hardest part of leadership is, she asked. What? Trusting people. Really trusting them. Believing they can be better than they are. Giving them space to grow even when it's risky. She paused. You made me better at that. You taught me that sometimes people need someone to believe in them even when they don't believe in themselves. I didn't believe in you, I said quietly. No, you didn't, but someone else did. My therapist, my co-founder, my family. And because they believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself, I learned how important that is. She looked at me directly. I'm giving you what someone else gave me. But you have to do the work. No one can do it for you. I know. Good. She walked away. Back to running a company. Back to being the leader she was always meant to be. And I went back to my desk. Back to my team. Back to trying to be the leader I should have been all along. If there's anything I'd tell my 24-year-old self, it's this. Other people's brilliance doesn't diminish yours. It illuminates it. But you have to be brave enough to let it. I wasn't brave enough then. I'm trying to be now. That's all any of us can do. Try to be better than we were yesterday, even when yesterday was 5 years ago, even when the cost of being better is admitting how much worse you were. I used to think karma was about punishment, about getting what you deserve, revenge. But that's not what happened to me. Karma wasn't Maya destroying me the way I destroyed her. Karma was Maya forcing me to see who I actually was and then asking me if I wanted to change. Turns out the hardest form of justice isn't revenge. It's accountability. And mercy. I'm still learning to live with both. Still learning that redemption isn't a moment. It's not one apology. One conversation. One choice. It's 1,000 small choices. Every day. Every interaction. Every time you feel that fear and choose differently. It's choosing to celebrate instead of compete. To support instead of sabotage. To build up instead of tear down. Some days I'm good at it. Some days I fail, but I keep trying. Because Maya gave me something I never gave her. A real chance. And I'm not going to waste it.